The golden house? It looked impressive enough from the outside, but who would have guessed that it was even fancier on the inside? And so full of Mora. This is where all of Teyvat's Mora is minted, right? In that case, maybe they won't notice if a few Mora go missing. Oh, so it's a trap! Tricky, tricky. Good thing Paimon's got you here. But even if we can't take any, we can still have a closer look, right? Or better yet, take a nap on top of a mountain of Mora. It's like a dream come true. Oh, right. Back to business. It's quiet. Too quiet. Surely someone's gotta be guarding something as important as the Exuvia. Huh? Look! What happened here? Uh-oh. Paimon smells trouble. Quick! We have to go make sure that the Exuvia is all right.
To be sharing with you. The battle.
Battle? So you're the...
You could say, when Senor, instead of confronting you directly, when she faces a worthy but as for me, the greatest pleasure...
We won't let what happened in Mondstadt ever happen again!
Oh, so you intend to besides, you could never... Fighting talk, I love it! This chance is hard to come by.
Good morning, the Genshin Custodian here. So it's been so long, guys. I've been trying to get over sort of a weird sore throat that doesn't really want to leave. But we're going to go over 3 things today. So yes, 1.1 has been out now for just over 2 weeks. This is the fight with Child, so hopefully most of you guys have actually got to this point now and it's not a spoiler. Obviously the title will be spoilers anyway, because most of the stuff we're going to do currently is going to be spoiler work. So this is essentially the second half of 1.1. And as you can see, I'm just getting my ass beaten in this scene in general. I did not have a good time doing this. I was AR 45 I think when I did this, so my characters are underleveled, my gear's underleveled. I don't really wail for anything in terms of gear wise, so I might have like the best characters, but the gear is subpar at best. So yeah, I don't have any 5-star weapons, so this made this a lot harder. You may have seen a few of the other creators who have been like, "Oh, it's so easy, guys. You just suck." It's like, yeah, sorry, dude. I don't shell out like thousands of dollars for this game. That's why I suck. So yeah, I do apologise for the gameplay being a bit lacking. As you may have noticed, though, it's one of these fights where Venti actually isn't the greatest at this fight because they aren't affected by his ultimate. And then he goes from being water type to an electric type user during the battle, which obviously makes it a bit harder for when you have Kaching in your party. So yeah, so unless you're one of those very lucky people that just basically has a Diluc, or I suppose yeah, just Diluc really, and then maybe Chi-Chi, obviously trying to get different elements in. It's a much harder fight than it should have been, but I think at this point we've all tried it. It's quite an enjoyable fight. It is different. It is harder, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. With that being said, though, let's go on with the rest of the story.
Brace yourself. Don't...
All you do is run. You've got some skills.
Speed of light. Brace yourself.
Raging tide. No use hiding back there.
Think you can get away?
Something else catch your eye?
Let's play! I swear by my sword!
You've got some skills.
Booba, get them! Incoming!
The price
Nowhere
of a
to hide.
single slip. All you do is run. Raging tide! Has your luck run out?
sleep a while.
Raging tide! You've got some skills. Not bad. Your swordsmanship is quite impressive. But that's about as far as you'll get. Didn't think you had that card hidden up your sleeve.
You were just playing us to get close to the Exuvia!
Oh, quiet down. Stop acting like some wide-eyed recruit. You've seen this world. You of all people should know. This should have been expected! Well then, I'll be taking Morax's Gnosis now! Huh? I see. Well, this is most unexpected. You beat me to it, didn't you?
Not bad. But this is going to cost you!
So, Tartaglia is quite a unique fight in the sense he has three forms. So obviously we know Child is the water form, and then he goes into his kind of like half delusion form, which is his Fatui mask into his electric stance. And then he has his like full demonic delusion form, which is this big, burly, essentially muscle and bone crushing form. And as we see, if you do the Child side quest, it's really body warpingly like destructive to use. It's might be said because he's quite young still, and his body can't sort of take the difference in element, as his natural element is warped and he is obviously getting powered by electric. It could be a sense of that it's an actual greater power than what a vision is, and a delusion is just this immense force of energy that has been forced upon him. Now, I've presumed that the masks are what hold the delusions, but it could actually be a power within itself. Some people have made suggestions that the delusions themselves are powers from hell, and the visions are powers from heaven, or Island of Paradise. But for now, we don't really know much about this. But even though I did say like I had a hard time fighting him by myself, it was probably one of the better fights we've had in this game. And I look forward to see what we get next. I'm presuming we're going to get Inazuma as the next nation we can go to. Obviously, we know we're getting Dragonspire as our next area we can travel to. But I still think that when we get to the next area, it's going to be a crazy, crazy fight. And they're not going to be very happy with us.
Well then, time to cool off. It seems the burden of the foul legacy transformation was too great for my body. I lacked the opportunity to think this through. And now that I consider the matter more carefully, you never had any chance of beating me to the Gnosis. You had no connection to the Gnosis, no matter where it had been taken.
That's what we've been trying to tell you! We didn't take it!
Your show of ability today far surpasses that of Signora's initial assessment of you in Mondstadt. Tell me, how could that be? You already know the answer, don't you? I can see it in your eyes. But if that is a secret you wish to keep, I guess I'll just have to curb my curiosity. This battle has already left me satisfied. Anyone who strives as I do to grow stronger shall be called a friend, even if our friendship can only be shown in battle against one another.
Pretty sure that's not the normal way to make friends.
Unfortunately, I must bring this amiable conversation to an end. My quest still beckons. Given that the Gnosis wasn't taken by anyone, then we must look once again to the beginning. Perhaps it was never in the Exuvia to begin with. In fact, it might be that the Exuvia was just a diversion of sorts.
What? So you mean that...
Yes, it appears so. Interesting to say the least. It seems that the guardian deity of the capital of commerce is also well versed in little maneuvers beyond the boundaries of contracts. As such, we must now look to our backup plan.
backup plan?
I had hoped it would never come to this. I absolutely detest working with those who are weaker than I. The truth is, the world belongs to those of us who desire to become strong. I seldom willingly mingle with any dull and boring weaklings who think otherwise. Unfortunately, we cannot be picky about our methods as Fatui Harbingers. Children must all learn to eat their vegetables sometime.
So what are you planning to do?
I will awaken the god that lies dormant beneath Guyon's stone forest.
A god?
Osile, overlord of the Vortex, who was defeated by Morax, the Geo-Archon in the Archon War, and who has remained pinned beneath the waves by the Geo-Archon's stone spears ever since. If such an ancient god were to be unleashed upon Liyue Harbor, defenseless without the protection of its deity, do you think the cunning Rex Lapis would just stand aloof and watch the ensuing destruction?
But the Archon War ended 2,000 years ago. How can an ancient god appear in a world now overseen by the Seven?
Simple. I've already prepared the means to awaken it.
Hey, those are sigils of permission! Oh, Paimon remembers now. The Fatui have been researched.
Indeed. The one that was given to you was just a byproduct of our research. With the power of so many sigils of permission concentrated in one place, along with that which was bestowed upon me as a harbinger by our Tsaritsa, breaking the subduing might of the Geo-Archon spears for a time should be no obstacle. Using the powers of ancient gods in such a situation fails to interest me, and is largely against my principles. But knowing that such an action will not only force the Geo-Archon to show its hand, but you as well, that makes matters a little more intriguing. Let's see. Will the nation that has lost its deity be swallowed up by an ancient malice once more? If you wish to drown together with the people of Liyue, you're free to stay and enjoy the show.
Huh? He's already gone. That guy is fast. What's going on? did. If we hadn't happened to see the Jade Chamber flying over just as we came out of the Golden House, we really wouldn't have known which way to go. Did we make it in time? Is the Overlord of the Vortex still in the sea? It hasn't destroyed Liyue yet, has it?
What are you doing here?
Huh? Hold on. It's the Adepti. What are you doing on the Jade Chamber? Paimon thought you were arguing with the Qixing. Is the fighting over?
Faced with a calamity of such magnitude, we have agreed to put our differences aside for now and unite against this common enemy.
Oh, Paimon gets it. So how do you plan to defend Liyue? Just seeing this Overlord of the Vortex guy puts a pit in Paimon's tummy. Even...
It's not just you. We've got new Millilith recruits who can't even stand at attention without shaking. The force of an ancient god's presence, which is why we must stop that monster before it gets any closer to Liyue Harbor.
So the Archon War was fought 2,000 years ago against enemies like that thing? Now that's scary. So will the power of the Qixing, Millilith, and Adepti gathered here be enough to stop that god?
We've already discussed this together, and our conclusion is... not necessarily.
What? But all of you are supposed to be the guardians of Liyue. Can't you think of something?
One certainly could.
Huh?
The Qixing did once research the matter of the Guizhong Ballista when it piqued their fancy. And as fate would have it, one who did craft the Guizhong Ballista with one's own hands is here. For what could you mortals ever learn of Adepti mechanisms? Yet it would take one, but a little tinkering to turn this ballista into an engine of war beyond your wildest thoughts.
I suppose this is one blessing from the Adepti that we should be thankful for. So be it. We shall use the upgraded Guizhong Ballista to fight off that god. All the Adepti here can lend their strength to man it. We haven't a moment to spare. Our battle begins now. Yep.
The Fatui! They're attacking the Guizhong Ballista!
The three Adepti are manning the Guizhong Ballista. Do not let the Fatui disturb their work.
So, we come to the Adepti fight scene, and this is quite interesting, even if it is a little bit misleading in terms of vision. And what I mean by that is you start this fight off, and you fight the people in front of you, but there's no indication that there's anyone else there. So, as you can see, the reason why I nearly lost one of my turrets is because I was like, hey, what's going on? Why is the people here? And then all of a sudden they turned up, you get these cool external Adepti powers, the fight just ramps up and ramps up. In all fairness, I feel like I wasn't prepared in myself, but I probably should have been more of a sense of you get to choose when you go in, like you would with a domain. Because I didn't have the right people, but it worked out in the end. But it would have been nice to sort of have more of a hint of what was going on before you just start. But I feel like they did a really good job on 1.1's fighting arenas. It's a shame that we can't go back to the Jade Palace and have like a domain in the Jade Palace. Or if the Jade Palace has fallen into the ocean, you can travel to it and you can do like maybe the Hydro and Cryo domain there, because obviously we're still missing that part. Presumably it will be here on the Dragon Spine, but we don't really know for sure yet. Hopefully we'll get other things like this in Inazuma or in
That is Osial's divine
the Harbinger's area,
I am.
or Samara, which is the
Careful not to get hit.
Dendry area. Hopefully we get some just more stuff. Things that are slightly different. As people have said, I'd love to see an attack speed build on some of these characters. Like Kaching is really good with attack speed. Imagine just her doing a crits and attack speed and just destroying things by just auto-attacking constantly. I'd like to see that. But more fight scenes, please, everyone.
Cut to the chase. There are so many Fatui too.
Were you about to say we can't hold them, children?
Right idea. Wrong time.
Don't lose heart. Here, take this.
This is gentle energy. That light from your body. It's like that time in Julian Cars. Wow, it's Madam King's shockwave. This Granny's really strong.
Joy, we've only just begun. Freshness to our soul. Looks like I went too far.
Wait, hear me.
With the blood of the Chilean, I guard you against evil. Cast your fear of injury by the wayside and fight with all your might. I too did this during the Archon War. So this is what Granny's like in a fight.
My name means swiftness. Take my power and run as I do.
We're going too fast.
Child, you are strong in body and spirit. Perhaps you can withstand 3 forms of adeptal energy at once.
This will hurt a little. Please bear with us.
Once you've adapted, try to use them in battle.
Wouldn't gliding be faster? Over here, let's play! Think you can get away? Barbados,
Disgusting.
exercise caution. I fear that the god's power has reached its peak.
In other words, if we hold here, there's nothing worse to come, right?
Wouldn't gliding be... Think you can get away? Here we go. Incoming.
This isn't good.
Let's play. Time for takeoff. Brace yourself. Incoming.
on, comrades. Once we finish this lot off, the Adepti will be able to deal with the god in peace.
Over here.
The interlopers are no more. Now we may commit ourselves fully.
It's working! We just need to keep this up!
Be careful now.
The Guizhong Ballista is destroyed. Without its covering fire, retaliation shall be difficult.
But the Jade Chamber is our last line of defense. We can't give another inch, no matter what.
I have another idea.
What do you mean, Lady Ningguang?
I'll sacrifice the Jade Chamber.
What is the meaning of this?
I understand.
Traveler, lend me a hand. Farewell, old friend. Goodbye for now. Let us meet again in the future.
So I need to apologise here. There's a small part of this cutscene that we missed, essentially because I did record everything on the PS4. As I said before, the wife has the PC, or did have the PC as her maining Genshin machine, and sadly the PS4 doesn't have integrated cross-service with the PC. Probably should have saw it coming. We all know what Sun is like. So there is a small scene here that we've missed, and it was just essentially them kind of arguing still about the whole what shall we do about leeway, and then coming to an agreement, or kind of an understanding, I suppose, more that leeway is for the people, and the Adepti haven't been forgotten. It's just things keep moving forwards, and the Adepti kind of like things to stay the same. And this is the issue we have, that, you know, you got the old guard coming with the new guard, and I suppose the old guards kind of didn't really like it anymore, but they've come to the understanding that leeway is essentially a growing hub of people, and the people still need the Adepti. It's not like the Adepti have been forgotten. So they just go to the understanding that this is how it's going to be, and that they have to agree to things.
Yes, one understands what the Conqueror of Demons means. The city of Liyue has changed much after our long separation. One fears that by the time one finally grasps the new contracts of Liyue, you humans would have once again changed the place beyond recognition. Fair enough. Away we shall, and return whence we came.
Since we Adepti have consensus, then one shall persist no further. But how will we ensure that the Liyue Qixing will not simply exploit their power once we depart? In my view, that is still a thing to be guarded against.
All right, Mooncarver, you needn't worry. It seems to me that this right of supervision is best left to the people of Liyue.
Looks like the conflict between humans and Adepti was avoided. Oh, right! It's nice that we've got peace and all. Child wanted to unleash the god so he could lure Rex Lapis out. But we were able to handle the Overlord of the Vortex on our own. So Rex Lapis never showed up. Oh, and speaking of that, don't we still need to get to the bottom of that Archon's death too? Paimon doesn't get it. But isn't the strongest lead we have the Adepti-less rite of parting that we're organizing? No idea where Zhongli's gone. Let's ask for him at Wangshen Funeral Parlor.
Is there anything I can do for you two? I'm afraid that Wangshen Funeral...
We've come to see Zhongli.
Unfortunately, Zhongli isn't here at the moment.
Doesn't the Northland Bank belong to the Fatui? Last time we saw Zhongli was before we went to the Golden House. Do you think he doesn't know about the attack on Liyue? Visiting the... We had better go and make sure that...
So this is where the theory came in that Zhongli could be Rex Lapis. It's a good little cutscene, and you do learn kind of a lot about what was going on through his mind to why he wanted to do something like this. And you already know what the Fatui are up to, so it's not really sort of a lose-lose for anyone. No one's really winning as well. That's the kind of the weird thing, because when you lose your power, you don't really lose your power. Well, that doesn't make much sense, but you'll see what I mean shortly.
You call this cooperation between Harbingers? Cooperation involves communication, you know.
Don't take it to heart, child. Besides, aren't you happy that you got to skip the formalities and bring chaos to the land? I'm sure you must have enjoyed that. Oh, it seems that some of your friends have arrived.
Hey, it's Zhongli and Child. And... you! You're also one of the Harbingers?
It's you two. I believe we've met once before. In the City of Bards, was it? I'm glad you still remember my name. Ah, right. I imagine that it must have been rather hard to forget watching helplessly as something precious was snatched away from your friend.
No, don't let her get to you! You've yet to gather the powers of all 7 elements, and our last battle at the Golden House was almost more than you could handle. So it might be best to keep things peaceful this time, seeing that 2 of the Harbingers are here.
Well, if it isn't you two. This is our first time seeing each other since Liyue was nearly wiped off the map. This is certainly a bit awkward, wouldn't you say?
Paimon knew that we should never have trusted a Fatui Harbinger.
Oh, now don't say that. Sure, I may have misled you, but I never had anything against you personally. Besides, I thought we were getting along quite well together, didn't you? Except for that little tussle we had at the end. Nothing personal. We just have different views, that's all. Of course, you may very well hold this against me, but that's up to you. The real deceivers here are Senora and Zhongli. Curse them for leading me on. So actually, I think...
Stop wasting time, child. There'll be plenty of time to chat once I'm through here. You remember the agreement, Morax. Now, if you would be so kind.
What in the world are you talking about?
The contract is fulfilled. That which thou seeketh is now bestowed unto thee. For my promise is solid as stone.
How sanctimonious.
What? So you're the Lord of Chio? No, wait! That's an exciting twist and all, but why give the Gnosis to the Fatui?
I do not give it for free. I give it as agreed upon in the contract, for it is a matter solely between the Tsaritsa and I.
Yeah, you don't think you went a little bit too far with that whole fake death thing? Everyone was preparing the ceremony for you, and splat! This big dragon falls out of the sky, and all of Lyric goes into an uproar. Talk about a disaster.
Gathering all the forces that had been bubbling behind the scenes, and then stirring them together in a pot that was bound to boil over. That's what he wanted to see, am I right?
Wait, what?
Perhaps it's best that I explain. As you know, I've dwelt upon this world for more than 6,000 years. I witnessed the founding of Liyue, together with the Adepti 3,700 years ago. Even boulders that can withstand whirlpools will erode with the passing of time. I kept convincing myself that cracks had not begun to form, and that the end of my time had not yet come, until one drizzly day. As I was strolling along the harbor, I heard a merchant tell one of his workers, "You finished your duties. Go ahead and call it a day." I stood motionless among the crowds, asking myself, have I already finished my duties?
Oh, Zhongli.
But as I began to consider relinquishing my divine role, I soon discovered that many reasons still remained to not hastily depart. Was Liyue, the city I had dwelt in for so long, already prepared to enter its next age? I decided that a test was needed in order to reveal the answer. So I feigned my own death, and gathered the cast of Child, the Adepti, and the Liyue Qixing to play their... Indeed I was. The Gnosis, which I had kept for so many years, suddenly seemed to have lost its meaning. That's right. Which is why I continued to safeguard the Gnosis until now.
So you mean that if the chaos ever reached the point of no return, you would simply appear and use your divine powers to bring Liyue back under control?
Of course, and it would have been all too easy for him too. Just as a child quickly matures after losing their parents, so has Liyue matured when faced with the death of its deity.
I was pleasantly surprised with the finale of the show that you all put on. Why, you even deserved an encore. The Adepti deserve the greatest applause, considering their years of seclusion. They hardly recognized the city, yet faced with such a crisis, they exerted the greatest amount of restraint. Not only did they manage to cooperate with the Qixing, but in the end, they even tried to understand the heart of the people. And hats off to the emissary dispatched by the Cryo-Archon to fulfill our contract, Signora. She managed to keep everything she knew in strict confidence, far from the eavesdropping ears of her colleague Child, just as I had requested. All the while, I carried on as Zhongli, and fulfilled the traditions of Liyue in this mortal form. Thank you for walking that path with me, Traveler. These things were all a part of my script. The only unforeseen plot twist was the conduct of the Liyue Qixing. I had expected them to do no more than the Adepti, to come to the defense of Liyue. But when all was said and done, they seized the opportunity to supplant Liyue's divine protectors, and used the subsequent power vacuum left by my death to quickly gain complete control of Liyue.
Huh? That doesn't sound good at all.
On the contrary, I think it is excellent. I had always feared that it was too soon for them to take over from me. And it was also that which I longed for the most. As such, this is the best parting gift anyone could have given this god of old.
Hey, what about me? Doesn't anyone feel the least bit of remorse for deceiving me? You've practically kept me in the dark.
I think that thanks would be more appropriate. You certainly played no small part in all of this, wreaking havoc and turning the city upside down. The Lord of Geo ought to thank you for your performance, if anything. If you hadn't created the pressure of a battle between mortals, Adepti, and a god, the lump of coal resting in the hands of the Geo-Archon, Liyue would never have been able to become a dazzling diamond of a city.
Huh? Just whose side are you on, mocking me like that? Are you itching for a fight? Be that as it may, you've come out of this as the hero of Liyue. I, on the other hand, will be forever prescribed as a disturber of the peace, no?
Well then, with the Gnosis in my possession, I have no use for such idle chatter. We should return to Zappolyarny Palace and seek an audience with her.
Ah, fine. I'll meet you there later. I'm not sharing a boat with the likes of you.
Do as you wish.
Now then, is there anything else you wish to ask me?
Right! As Zhongli always told us, a good trade is a fair trade. Paimon has no idea what could be a good trade for a Gnosis.
Realistically speaking, there is no such thing.
Huh?
However, I am the god of contracts. For thousands of years, I have made countless contracts. If the deal was of no benefit, then I certainly would not be inclined to agree to it. My agreement with the Cryo-Archon will be the last of my contracts as the Geo-Archon. My contract to end all contracts. As for the bargaining chip that the Tsaritsa used to balance the scales, uncover that answer for yourself in your future journeys.
So, this comes to the end of our little adventure in Liyue for 1.1. There was another scene after this where you just get to ask him a few questions. One is, did you have a backup plan for money? No, he didn't. He's poor, he's a beggar, he's our beggar, he's our very poor husbando. Number 2, there was a question about Inazuma, and that their god, who I can never remember the real name of, but their nickname Raiden, is basically going around and removing visions from people. This does come up in a later side quest that we're going to go through probably a different day on the channel, as it's quite interesting because it leads to something else as well. There was a third question asked, and I can't remember what it was at all, but I think it was something to be Paimon asking him what happened if the plan failed. So, yeah, there we have it, guys. Thank you for joining me. This is obviously very long. It's not really a theory video, it is more of just a catch-up to what happened during essentially the fight scenes of this era. I do have some of the other cutscenes available. If you guys are interested, we can try and put them together, and we could smash things. Try and put them together, and we can go from there. If you guys want to see the earlier cutscenes, and as I said, there's a few other cutscenes from missions that I have available as well. So let me know in the comments if you guys enjoy this or not. If this is too long, if this is too short. If it's too short, you guys are crazy. I don't know what I'm going to do for a longer video. Although I have said before, I'm probably going to read the books at some point, so you can have a story time with the Genshin Custodian. But guys, that's it for today. Thank you for being here. Super sorry it's been over 2 weeks. I'm trying to get over this weird sore throat, but hopefully we'll have some more videos coming out soon. And obviously, with Christmas being the time that we get our 1.2, we shall be having some good times. So, have a good one. Peace out. Goodbye.